What's going on, guys? Full here, and I am back with another video. In today's video, we'll be doing an in-depth Rek'sai jungle guide. Rek'sai currently is in a very strong position because of the clear speed she has and also the early gank potential she has. It's going into a tank meta, which with Rek'sai's pressure and Rek'sai's true damage is very, very good for her, honestly. She has a lot of priority in a lot of games, and yeah, she's giving me a good amount of wins. So yeah, let's just get right into the runes. There are two possible rune setups for Rek'sai. With this current meta going towards the tank heavy style, Conqueror is the better option. But if you are facing squishy teams that are easily dying to a couple of auto attacks, then going Hail of Blades is stronger because yeah, well, it just does a lot more burst damage. You can get your entire Hail of Blades off in a single knock-up combo. So you were to knock somebody up, auto attack instantly into a Q reset, and then Hail of Blades starts just proccing like crazy. For a lot of attack speed, you're going to do a lot of damage to squishy targets and pretty much just kind of insta-killing them. So the Hail of Blade setup would be best against that, but since that's not really the case anymore these days, and it's going more towards the tank style, Conqueror would just do a lot more there because the fights are going to take longer, you're going to get more healing damage out of it, and that's really that. So I will go for the Hail of Blades first. It's Hail of Blades, then go Cheap Shot, again because of the burst. Like if you knock somebody up with Cheap Shot, then Hail of Blades with this is going to proc instantly. It's going to give you a slight amount of extra burst, which is very essential, especially early game. So this will help you there. This is just a bit of extra damage. It does more than Sudden Impact does for Rek'sai, so that's really why you opt for that. Now here you have the option of Zombie Ward or the Eyeball Collection, depending on the elo you're playing in. If there's enough wards being placed, the Zombie Ward is always worth it. If not, then Eyeball Collection is better. Now here, to kind of fix the main issue Rek'sai has, you want to go Relentless Hunter. The main issue Rek'sai has is getting under her target, so you need to close the distance to be able to get the knock-up off. You have an E, you have a Flash, and you have your Smite, and those are really the only ways. So if you have more move speed, it's going to make it easier for you to get underneath your target and to then one-shot them really with this setup. Now your secondary tree is pretty much guaranteed to be Nimbus Cloak. You can go Celerity, but Water Walking is just better for the fight potential you have in the river for early Scuttle Crabs. So that's really why you want to opt for that. Now Nimbus Cloak is pretty much the rune you need on Rek'sai. Because if you blue smite somebody with Nimbus Cloak, the amount of move speed you get out of this is immense. And this is kind of the similar thing as I mentioned with this. It's essential to get that distance to be able to go under a target and knock them up. You kind of need the Nimbus Cloak Smite combination. All of this extra move speed is going to easily allow you to do that. So that's really why you want it. Now for here, with Hail of Blades, you don't need the attack speed. So going this is fairly useless. You don't really need it for your initial jungle clear either. It's nice, but not that necessary. It's better to go double Adaptive Force with this. Because, well, this is going to just allow you to one-shot targets a bit easier. And then for the defensive one, it's kind of just Magic Resist or Armor, depending on what you're facing. So if it's an AP jungler or more AP, pick the Magic Resist. If not, pick Armor. So this is it for squishy enemies. If the enemy team has a really squishy team. If they do not have this, then Conqueror is the option. This remains the same, because this fixes the distance problem Rek'sai has. So this remains the same. You definitely just get the attack speed as well, because now you don't have the Hail of Blades for the extra attack speed. This is gonna just instantly be a lot better. And right here is just Conqueror. This is the essential one, and Triumph is the option here. Now here you can go for Alacrity again to kind of give yourself more attack speed, which is nice. But since they're tank meta and just in general champions that have more CC, going Legend Tenacity is worth it. Just for all of that CC. Now here you have the option of kind of going Last Stand or Coup de Grace. It just depends on how well the enemy champion is at actually dueling you. If they are good at it, then Last Stand is really the one you want to get, because it's going to give you more damage. If not, then Coup de Grace is probably just the best choice. Going Cut Down on Rek'sai is pretty troll, because you have quite a bit of max HP, so that really won't help you. So it's either one of the two. Most games I tend to go for Coup de Grace just for the execute damage with your ultimate, and then also the extra damage on your E for the bite, because, well, the bite you're pretty much guaranteed to use that when the enemy team is kind of low HP. So this is it for the runes. If you guys have questions on this, put that in the comments below, and I'm gonna go into the item build now. Right, so for the item section, we have the Hunter's Machete start with a refillable potion, and also this ward. This ward needs to be placed at about 50-ish seconds to defend. You'll see this in the game as well, but this, yeah, just place this to defend your buff camp or defend a potential invade, and instantly switch this out for the sweeping lens after like an initial back at 50 seconds. That's just the one you want to get. Now this is going to allow you to go for that early gank to know if they have vision on you or not, and this really supports that early gank because this is going to clear those camps that double buff with the Gromp as fast as possible. You can start on either blue or red buff, doesn't really matter, just depends on what lane you want to go gank, and also depends on what side you are, of course. If you want to gank top side, your red side, then start blue buff, clear up, so you can do blue, Gromp, red buff gank. You can even do blue, Gromp, wolves, red buff gank in some situations if you have your opportunity for that, but usually you want to try to put that early pressure down with that early gank because Rek'sai is very, very good at this. If you are facing junglers that aren't that good early game as well, so you can easily start invading them too at this point. Some champions that go for full clears that aren't like really that quick or that good early game can easily get countered by Rek'sai by just going the double buff Gromp and then invade style, because you're just going to be very strong in a 1v1. If you have Hill of Blades against like squishy junglers, let's say a Kha'Zix for example, you're facing that, then that's pretty much just instantly means Kha'Zix is dead, because usually Kha'Zix has to go for a more clear heavy style, and he's not really that fast at it. His early game is fairly weak, so you can easily abuse that with something like this. So this is why you go Machete. Now upgrading this Machete is pretty much guaranteed to be Blue Smite. Blue Smite on Rek'sai is kind of essential because it allows you to get a lot of extra distance on targets. You slow them down. You combine it with Nimbus Cloak, so you speed yourself up by a lot, which allows you to get under the target for a knock-up. And if you can get that done, then the gank pretty much is a success, because usually targets will die as soon as you get a knock-up on them. So that's why you want to get Blue Smite. Now the initial jungle item is Warrior, just because Rek'sai scales very well off of attack damage. Also, Rek'sai is like a bit more of a, like in solo queue especially, she's more of a like carry style jungler than actually like a tanky champion. So yeah, this is just the Warriors, the one you want to opt for. Now boots wise, it's pretty much just ninjas or mercs depending on what you're facing. Yeah, it's just physical, like CC this, or if not then that. It's, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Now picking up boots at this rate is fairly important. You can go and opt to keep normal boots, but usually again with that movement speed issue Rek'sai has to get under targets, the more move speed you have, the easier it's going to be to actually make the plays happen. So moving on from this, the main damage item Rek'sai has is Black Cleaver. This again is like, it kind of sticks together with the movement idea, but this is also good for armor pen. If you knock somebody up with, and then also hit the burrowed Q, you're gonna get stacks off that, and that's instantly just kind of shred their armor by a lot. So usually you'll have the target, you engage on that target, and then you get them low. And then if they were to flash away, then it would be max stacked on Black Cleaver pretty much, and then your ultimate is going to do a lot more execute damage, which is very, very good. Also, this gives 20% CDR, which is very solid because Rek'Sai's kit is really limited to cooldowns. And overall, just a very great item. This is the item you want to rush every single game. There's no question there, really. Now, to follow this up, you have you go into the multiple options. So you have the option of going Strix. You have the option of going for even an Edge of Night, a Guardian Angel, even a Blade of the Rune King is actually decent. It's gonna be even, like it's really strong now as well with all that extra percentage you got on it. So this item right here could be very good into tankier teams, and could be something you opt to go for right here. This is gonna be very, very strong against like just tanks in general. So this is definitely something you can opt for here as well. So that'd be like a thing there. Now, if you were to pick up a blade, then you definitely want to finish it off with something like a Strix with this. It's gonna make you fairly tanky. You can also go Strix and then opt for a Stone Plate. Stone Plate's also a very good thing on Rek'sai. Stone Plate's gonna allow you to make those dive plays a lot easier. So you were to dive into the enemy team, you can go for a knock-up on somebody and then press Stone Plate. Your team can catch up. Your Stone Plate is going to allow you to tank a lot. You can then ult right after to stall even more time, and that's how you can easily engage a team fight. Now, Edge of Night can be used usually with a Hill of Blades setup. So if you were to go this and then maybe an Edge of Night with the Hill of Blades, it's going to do well against squishy. It's going to go and block some abilities they have to potentially stop you or anything like that. So that could be very, very useful there. And yeah. So the other option, another item I want to mention here is the, where is it, magic resist. Maw is a very good damage magic resist item for Rek'sai. So this is definitely something you can easily look to pick up if you're doing well. If you're not doing that great at this moment in time, if you pick up a Black Cleaver and either you're behind or not doing too well, you can opt to just go tankier, which is never really that bad of a choice. You can quite easily go for something like an adaptive helm if it's needed against like repetitive magic damage sources like Cassio. You can go for a Spirit Visage for the tank there. You can go even more like supportive and go for a Locket as your magic resist item as well. Just try to be as useful to your team as possible if you fall behind. Now this is done usually when behind. It's better to go for cheaper tank items. So for example, again, the Stone Plate here could very much help you out if you're not doing too great at this rate. Then just picking up a Stone Plate is going to allow you to still dive in, still be very tanky with 80 armor and 80 magic resist for only 2500 gold, which is very, very valuable. You have a good amount of HP from your Black Cleaver, so this is definitely going to help in those situations. And this is usually the item I tend to pick up if I, like, again, am not doing that great and I need to be more tanky. So this is pretty much it. If you guys have questions on this, please make sure to put those in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, please make sure that the thumbs up button helps me out a lot. And yeah, let's just get right into the gameplay section now. Alright, welcome to the gameplay section of this guide. As you can see, I am playing Rek'sai, of course, into a Nunu. And my icons on the side are messed up. Can I move this? Nope. Alright, cool. Too many swaps, I suppose. Rek'sai against Nunu is honestly a pretty good matchup for Rek'sai. You have more early game pressure. Rek'sai has a lot of early game pressure in general. You definitely need to make use of this against junglers that don't have it because, well, it's pretty much free ganks, really. That's, yeah. So, to start off a game, you always want to make sure that you put down a ward. This can be a ward here, even a ward on your red buff if you're starting blue, or a ward just here on your red buff if you're starting blue here. Depending on the enemy jungler, you need to kind of make sure that this ward, you put it in the best position to know what the enemy jungler is going to do. So if he's going to path like this to, for example, my red buff, then this ward would be very good. If he can go over the wall here, then placing a ward straight on your red buff is the best bet. And yeah, if you want to start red, you can do the same by warding either your blue buff or maybe here, or even seeing if he like starts here or something. Just make sure you cut him off the best way you can. Place the ward at about a 50-second mark, then reset to get a sweeper for your jungle clear start. So that's definitely something to lead off with. Now here, my initial goal here is, in this specific game, we have a Camille top against a Darius. We have a Vlad mid against an Echo. Yes, these sides are confusing me a little bit. We have these matchups here. It's pretty much, the top lane matchup is very snowball heavy. So if I can put the Camille behind, that'd be pretty ideal. So I'd be definitely looking for that. And because of that, I'm going to make sure that I clear towards top side as fast as possible. Also to put pressure on the Nunu, because he's not a very good early game champion. And then also to gank top lane. Now Darius gets a solo kill here, which is pretty nice. And Nunu is clearing towards top side as well. So just because Darius got the solo kill, I'm kind of delaying my my clear a little bit. So I do the 3 camps bot side, then red, and then move on. You can also go for Gromp with blue and then red and then move on from that. That's also going to hit you level 3, but in this case, because of the solo kill, I'm going to just stall my time a little bit, do 1 extra camp, and then move towards top side. Because I'm pretty sure with Darius pushing like this, the Nunu will show top side quite soon. At this rate, he should be, judging on his jungle clear, he did a similar path to me. He should be about here-ish somewhere. That's what I was thinking. Because yeah, obviously if the top laner gets a solo kill like this and he's pushing this hard, he's like, the enemy jungler is going to be there. So as a jungler, you want to make sure you look at this, assess the situation, and then oh, this switches that. All right, cool. And I want to be there as well. So yeah. And as we can see right here, my Tremor picked up the Nunu. Let's go from here. So right here, I figured he'd be top. My Tremor picks up the Nunu, so I'm instantly going to cut behind him. So he can flash over straight away, which is what he should do at this rate. Like, he's just out of position, not going to survive. But I do get the knock up. He doesn't flash away instantly. He tries to run away, which is a mistake there. And Darius catches up to him with a flash. We pick him up right now. I hit that plant to see what's up. Now at this rate, it's pretty easy to go for a dive on this Camille. Not sure if this flash is actually up, but with me and Darius, with Rek'sai, if you have a Darius, for example, or any champion that has some form of pull-in or CC, you can easily CC chain the target off of that. So they pull him in, they CC him, you get under him, you CC him even longer, and by that time they should already die. And the wave's pushed in right here, and we have the easy opportunity right here to just go in, get a free kill. As you saw the position there, wait for the Darius hook, go underneath the Camille, knock her up, and then as soon as you do the knock up on Rek'sai, you want to auto attack and then Q, because that's going to be an auto attack reset. So you knock him up, auto attack, then Q, and of course once your E hits max stack, or your bar fills up, your E maxes out, that's going to do true damage. That's the only time you want to use that. So don't use it earlier. You definitely want to make sure you only use it then. So now right here, I just saw the tremors from Nunu, and I also see a snowball coming right now. I'm currently on Scuttle. The chance of Darius living this, I mean, if he continues to go for it, maybe, but Darius is backing in a pretty good spot, so he's probably going to survive. He cancelled his back. I don't know, I think he could have made that back. I actually think he can also kill the Nunu with his Q healing, as you can see. But Nunu top lane right there, I kind of figured he either lives or dies, and I could chase the Nunu, but it's more valuable for me to go and take both scuttles. So that's what I'm going to opt for in this situation. I got my top gank off already. In this case, we get the kill. I got the kill on Nunu and on Camille. And now I want to make sure that I put this pressure down so Nunu falls behind a lot, because he's now ganking top lane again to maybe get the kill, maybe not, depending on how this goes. But I'm going to get double scuttle, and I'm going to get the pressure on bot lane, because I see my bot lane, or like the enemy bot lane pushing in. I can either, I walk through mid lane, which means that they know I'm coming down. So they will most likely back, and if they don't, I'm going to get a free gank off. So that's really my thought process here. So that's really, yeah, that's just what I'm looking for. If they don't walk back, then I can get a gank off. If they walk back, which they should, then my Vayne gets a lot easier of a time to just pick up a wave, which is also good. It's a combination of like walking to the second scuttle as fast as possible whilst showing mid, but also putting down the pressure on bot lane to make sure that they have to back. So that's the idea here. That's what I do also instead of walking around. Now, if I were to walk this way, then one, it would take more time. Two, they would be able to keep this pressure for longer, whilst if I walk through mid, they won't be able to keep that pressure. Or they shouldn't be able. So right here, they stay up a little bit too long, as you can see. They stand too far forward. I have a Nautilus. If you have an engaged support on your team, like the Nautilus in this case, then it's very easy to get ganks off on these types of champions. So definitely pay attention to how good your support's going to be for these types of ganks. If your support is more passive, you might have to consider walking around a little bit further. So having to go with a tunnel over this wall right here, or maybe even tunnel over this wall and then take a plant to walk in behind. Because then this is going to make sure that you get into a position where you can actually get the gank off if you don't have the engaged support. If you have one, you can quite easily just walk through the river in a short manner, as you can see right here. I can easily do this because he has enough CC to make sure that either one of the targets don't get away. So that's really the thing here. Now, initially, I went for the Karma to kind of force her back, but in this rate, Vayne gets a little bit too low, so I'm instantly just gonna go ahead and move to the Senna. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I didn't need to take that kill, but Vayne was getting really low, so I just wanted to make sure that Senna died there and we don't lose like a 1-for-1 trade whilst I gank. That's not ideal. Now here, this hits me level 5, which is a really big thing here. This just plays a role in putting that early pressure down as Rek'sai. Going aggressive against a jungler can't do it too much about it early game. And then just ganking with your gank pressure, because Rek'sai ganks are very, very strong. You have multiple ways to come from, as I mentioned earlier here in bot lane. You can do kind of a similar thing here in top lane. If you're blue side, for example, you can come in from behind on multiple different ways. This E from Rek'sai is going to make it very easy to go over walls, like for example here, to come in from behind the turret. Stuff like that. That's definitely something you want to pay attention to. Alright, here I'm just gonna go ahead and clear down. Dragon spawned. There's two things that could happen here. One is Nunu is pretty much already doing it from the start, from the 5-minute start basically. He could have just jumped over with his plant and started doing this. And if he did that, then there's not much I can do about it. So I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that Dragon would be gone then. My bot lane wouldn't have been there either way. So yeah, I'd probably be too late. So I opt to initially go for top lane and clear towards the dragon. Like if this happens and dragon doesn't die in the next coming seconds, then my bot lane would be able to, for example, ward, and I would still be able to get here, and the Nunu will not have done it. If the dragon dies within a couple seconds now, then we know Nunu instantly started it, and there was really not much I could have done about it. So here, question mark ping Drake to get my support warded. Nunu wasn't doing it, which is really, really good there. So that pretty much means the dragon's ours in the next one, because I'm stronger than Nunu, and I have to make sure that I pressure that out. I'm waiting for a position here on the Echo. As you can see me do right here, this is a very important thing to note. Don't just use your E for no reason. If you're ganking any form of gank, make sure that you use your E as a last resort, really, or if you have to cut people off with it. For example, you saw me use this on bot lane right here to cut off them from walking back. They could have maybe walked up, but if they did that, then they would have died. So you need your E for the cutoff, or if they were to get away. Now Echo has a lot of dashes and ults and types of stuff, so I'm using my E. I'm standing in a position that he can't walk this way. He can also not walk this way, because if he does that, I can E him. So he only really has a position to stand here and fight the Vladimir, which Vlad wins pretty easily, especially, I can always still decide to go in and flash on top of him if I have to. But in this case, as you can see, I'm waiting for him to either ult or dash to the side or something like that, and that just doesn't happen. He couldn't really afford to do that, so yeah. Now we kill that mid lane right there, and then I just instantly opt to go for the dragon, because that should be ours at this rate. Now here, we see the the Nautilus engage the Nunu, and I instantly tunnel. As soon as you see something like this happen, my E wasn't up here because I used it on Drake. That's a little bit stupid. Honestly, you kind of want to save your E for these types of situations. I should have done that in this case instead of just Eing over the Drake wall, just queuing it, and then keeping my E. So that's something you gotta think about as well. Try to keep your E as long as possible until you actually have to use it, because that's the best way. So there I'm pretty much kind of forced to flash over. So you see me tunnel, burrow first, then flash knock up to Nunu, because just flashing over as a Rek'sai really doesn't do much. If you can just tunnel, or burrow, sorry, then yeah. Now here I'm just gonna opt to go for some camps here. I just want to make sure that I get my blue and everything. Now usually as Rek'sai you don't want to take your blue buffs from your mid laner, but because it's a Vladimir, there's really no point in giving him blue. You can give him 10% CDR, but most Vladimir stack CDR straight away. So it's kind of just gonna be well, I guess I just want my own CDR, which is just why I take blue. Rek'sai doesn't need blue whatsoever except for CDR. So yeah. Now they get the kill on the ADC here, which is really, really nice. I can definitely opt to look for a dive if I want to, but in this case my top side is spawning, as you can see. The Rift Herald's also spawning quite soon, so I definitely want to make sure that I position myself towards the top side of the map, because there's nothing for me to get here. I could maybe kill a Karma, but if I kill that Karma and the Nunu is any type of brain, which they most likely have, because this isn't exactly low elo, yeah, he will take my red, he will take the Rift Herald, and that would give him a chance to get back into a decent position. So I definitely don't want that. So I'm just opting to go for the red buff / my top side as fast as possible. You see something going on in mid lane. I decided that this fight with the two people should have been for our team, so I didn't instantly roam there. Now you see right here, I see the snowball I see the Nunu coming in right here, which means I instantly have to move at that point. I kind of forced to. I don't know if Vlad can survive. Vlad does have pools, so that's pretty good there. I didn't get the knock up on Nunu there. I knocked up a minion, and right here, this was a little bit of an int play. The main thing here, the main problem here is that I got the knock up on the minion. As you see, the minion flew up there instead of the Nunu, which is pretty bad. I should have just stepped a little bit further down to get the knock up on Nunu, and that means he would have guaranteed died at that point. So that's a bit unfortunate there. And here I just kind of greed for my ultimate. My ultimate would have killed, maybe. Actually, no, barely not. It's 1 HP. If I would have gotten the kill, then maybe I would have lived. But even then, I think I would have still died. So either way, that was a little bit of a greedy play. And yeah, definitely not worth it for me. I shouldn't be doing that again. Now, right here. I'm just gonna go and opt to clear some jungle camps. And like at this point, Rek'sai's clear speed's really fast. So you need to make sure that you definitely keep up with your jungle clear, because if you don't and you start ganking too much, then you're gonna fall behind. And a Rek'sai that falls behind really isn't ideal. Like, definitely not ideal. So you need to make sure that you keep like clearing your camps. You can do this easily by keep putting your tunnels down in your own jungle, because if these tunnels are in position, then you can move between your camps really, really quickly. And that means like you pretty much one-shot all the camps anyway, because you have a good amount of AoE damage with your burrow Q and then your unburrow Q. It's most likely going to kill the small minions in the camp. So it definitely make use of that. But here you see me use the tunnel for some extra distance. Every tunnel that's there when you're trying to get to something, always use it. Just small things, but small things add up to a lot of distance and a lot of big things in the end. So initially I wanted to try to catch the Karma and walking forward with a Q. If I would have landed the Q on Karma, I could have... Actually, my ult's probably still on cooldown for 2 seconds. Yeah, never mind. Alright, so he dies there. I instantly tunnel backwards here because there's not much for me to get. Now the Echo goes a little bit too far forward here. If this wasn't an Echo, he would have died straight up right there. He is still going to continue right here. So this is a bit, like, very, very greedy from hhim there. He tanked the turret for way too long. At this rate, I get my Q on him. I snipe that with ultimate, and that's one of the things you can do against low HP people. If you can get the Q like that, it's pretty much over for them. Yeah. So my team kind of just ran it down at that point. Honestly, they all just died pretty similar in a pretty similar fashion. I'm not gonna overextend for the Karma there. I'm just gonna take the kill on Senna and like get away with it. Now, the dragon's spawning soon, so I definitely want to look towards doing this Drake. I need to make sure that I keep the objective control up, because if you keep the objective control up, then no matter how much your team turns to the feeding side of things, you can still, with objective control, kind of keep it in the game the best way best way possible. If you force dragons early and make sure that your team goes towards those dragons, either by spam pinging assists or just finding good positions, or maybe even kill a bot lane and then go to Drake, something like that. But you make sure to keep the Drakes up, because the Dragon's souls are pretty easy way for your team to win a game. And also with Rek'Sai's early game pressure and just how strong she actually is, you should be able to put enough pressure to at least get probably the first 2 Drakes, maybe 3 Drakes, depending on your team. So we see the Senna walking up here. Senna and Karma walking up here. So I'm just going to go bot lane instead of going for the Drake, of course. I want to make sure that I get this down. Now, initially, I wanted to flash here to kind of prevent the Senna from killing my Vayne, if at all possible. But right here, I have, like, at this rate, I'm kind of forced to flash the Senna. Because if I don't flash the Senna and get CC'd by her, don't know what skill it is, to be honest, but like that cone that just freezes you in place, they will likely kill me or get away. So I just want to close the distance instantly on this Senna. As you can see me do right here, I knock her up with burrow form. I auto attack first, and then I go into Q to instantly reset my auto attack. And I will fill up my bar, then bite her for some true damage, and my Conqueror procs really at this point, and this guy just instantly dies. I have a lot of damage to do that, and yeah, if I don't do that right here, this is a big thing to know. Always try to, you have to hard force some stuff, even with your flash burrow, if you don't initially think so, because if they can get away from you or CC you, you don't really have very many things to actually catch up apart from your tunnel. So I kind of have to keep that in mind. Now here at this rate, I mean, this Karma is just not going to get away. This is, she probably doesn't have her flash up, I think. This might be bugged, but right here, I just get under her. My Conqueror was up there, there's no way she was going to win that one. So yeah, now we kill the bot lane and I instantly again do the Drake. This is that big thing that I mentioned. Try to keep the control over your objectives. Now my Darius here is really nice in doing the Rift Herald, which is good for me. But if that wasn't the case, always try to look for the Rift Herald as well. Like getting a Rift Herald at like 8 minutes, if you have the opportunity to do it, is gonna give you like a lot of turret platings and maybe even just straight up a turret at that rate if you were to kill the laner, which isn't very unrealistic as Rek'Sai because your ganks are very, very strong. So killing a laner is likely to happen anyway with a gank. Let's pick up the Drake there, and right now all my jungle camps are up, so I definitely need to make sure that I clear some of my camps at least before I would reset. I think I'm gonna try to get enough gold for Black Cleaver and then look to reset, which is not too far out. So you can see me do with the camps right now as well. You want to burrow, like in your burrowed form, go to the middle of the camp, then hit your Q. In burrow form, then knock up, and that's probably like one-shotting the minions like the small minions fast enough to where the side damage from your Q is going to kill the camps. So you don't definitely don't need Tiamat. I see some Rek'sais go Tiamat. Definitely not necessary. You have more than enough jungle clear speed to do it without that, and there are much better items to pick up for Rek'sai. So they put the Rift Herald top lane, and we see the Nunu bot side, so I'm instantly opting to go for his top side jungle, see what's up, see what I can get for free. I probably should have given the blue buff to Darius there, but yeah, I was just, I guess, not really paying attention, I don't know. Right here, just keep clearing a little bit longer for just some items. At this rate in the game, there was no real play. The Darius kind of walked away. We didn't have pressure anywhere, so it's easily a good time for me to clear my camps. And even if I see the Nunu, for example, on bot side, take some of his top camps, see what's up. Always, when you're ahead or in a good position like this, always try to prioritize the enemy's jungle over your own jungle, which is a very big thing. Because if I were to full clear my jungle just straight up every single time, it's up, and leave the entire jungle to the enemy. If this were like a hyper carry jungler, for example, then this would end up poorly for me. Because let's say Karthus keeps getting to full clear his own jungle over and over and over and over again. You know what's going to happen. He's going to get fed enough to ult my team, and my team instantly dies. So yeah, if you are ahead, make sure you keep that pressure going, and make sure you farm the enemy jungle over your own jungle. Try to get some vision down, and that's really the thing. I see something going on bot lane right here. I'm just gonna see if I can walk in here pretty freely. Get the engage on Senna. Senna dies. My team just reset, so this is a big thing to note. These 3 people just came from base. Some of you might think, well, you could check his jungle, right? Well, no, really, because I would not have any backup. Maybe Vayne could back me up a little bit, and I don't want to play with my shutdown gold that much, because if I were to die to, for example, the Echo, and he were to get 750 gold from me at this point, or maybe 450, like, yeah, this would end up to 750. This Echo would get a lot of gold from that, and that might mean losing the next team fight, which is not ideal. So with my team walking back like this, I'm instantly gonna make sure that I again clear some of my jungle camps now that I have the opportunity. Vlad takes my wolves, and yeah, right here I see the Echo mid lane. I try to help the Nautilus out just from him to get away. Nunu goes there. I'm just clearing the camp here to, get some HP back, because you can. The thing with Rek'sai is you can use your Fury bar to your advantage when it comes to healing. So I take a lot of damage right here, so I instantly borrow to start my healing. The Nunu then comes in with a snowball, so I'm kind of forced to take the tunnel to my Raptors. The tunnel is going to be put on cooldown for a little bit, and I don't have any Fury. So instantly what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the camp and restack my Fury. Also, auto-attacking the camp gives me some lifesteal. So here I'm healing, and with my W I can get a little bit of extra HP back until my tunnel comes back up, and then I can go back over. So that's the thing to remember there. Now we do have the pressure on them right now. The dragon is again spawning soon. I definitely want to look towards that more so than I want to look towards killing the enemy team. So I don't want to make it too risky of a play right now, because if I were to, for example, go in on this Echo and get collapsed on by multiple people and die, then we have a good chance of losing the objective, which is the main thing here. So I definitely don't want to look towards going too aggressive here, and just want to look towards some vision control, and then opting to go for the Drake. As you can see, I'm just going to go here, go for the dragon, pick that up again, make sure that this keeps rolling, and now the next dragon will be the Soul, if we can get it, which we are likely to get with the position we currently have in this game. But this is really that early objective control, the early dragon control, that's very, very important, and this is also going to win you a very good amount of games in the lower elos, especially because Drakes are just not contested there. Like I've played quite a bit of games in lower elos, like anywhere from silver to plat for ranking new accounts or ranking accounts. People just don't prioritize dragon and don't set vision control for dragon enough. Like, you can easily win a lot of games by just doing that. So definitely keep that in mind. Alright, here I'm finishing off the camp that I started earlier. I didn't fully clear it because I wanted to be back in the fight. And this is just gonna be some extra clearing. I should have my item pretty soon here. Alright, don't have enough for Guardian Angel. Pick up a BF Sword. The reason I'm going Guardian Angel here is because I'm doing pretty well, and I want to make sure that I don't like give my shutdown gold away that easily in some situations if I have the opportunity. Now here I'm running top. My Darius and Nautilus died. There's no point for me to actually go in here, because you might think, well, you're 8-1, you're very strong. They're probably not, but they have numbers advantage right now, so I can't afford to just int a play. Still get hit by the Nunu thing there, which is a little bit annoying. Again, right here, I don't know who is here, because we see the Nunu, we see the Karma. I see my Tremor seeing somebody here, so I can't exactly walk up to kill this Nunu, as you can see. There's no point in just going for a kill if it means you die, pretty much guaranteed. So always look at your positioning in fights. As Rek'sai especially, you only have one chance to go in, really. And that one chance has to count, because if you go in with your tunnel and don't have flash up, for example, then the moment you go in, they would kite you or maybe CC you, and they walk back. You will have no way to close the distance again, apart from using your ultimate. And if you weren't able to hit your target, then using your ultimate is just not realistic. You can still use the Burrowed Fort Q with your ultimate to get in for a good distance, but the moment you jump in is the moment you kind of committed to the fight at that rate. So definitely look for a good opportunity to do so. Right, so Echo engages me there, loses a lot of HP for it. And I am using my ultimate, like, there are two ways you use your ultimate: to execute people and to dodge stuff you have to dodge. So in this situation right here, you see me initially go for the Echo. So the Echo, I knock him up. I again auto attack Q for the reset, then get my full bar, then bite him to get him as low as possible. Right here I proc my Conqueror. But at this rate you see Nunu starting to ult right now. So I'm kind of just trying to dodge it as if I can there with my own ultimate. So yeah, that's the way to use your ult as well. So it's a very good thing for a decent amount of ults. You can do it, for example, for Karthus ult if you time it properly, or just any type of CC ult, again for Nunu ult if you time it again. There's a lot of stuff you can dodge with it, and that's very, very good to make use of as well. Don't necessarily have to use it as a finisher. Oh, this is also just the way, like, the way you play fights without getting too greedy. This is very important. So right here, I get caught out pretty much by the Nunu and Echo. I lose a decent amount of HP. Then I use my ultimate to stall time instead of, again, finishing somebody. I stall as much time as possible for the Nautilus to get in range, for the Darius to get in range. So right here, I am not going to walk forward, because I could walk into this right now, and they are currently focused on the Nautilus and the Darius. If I were to walk forward right here, the Nunu might snowball me, Camille might just E me and stun me, so that's definitely not ideal. They have the numbers, so I'm just gonna kind of walk up, bait the Nunu towards me, as you can see right here. So the Nunu instantly switches to me, which is good, because now Nunu is not gonna go here. But the way I play this fight is I'm just kiting their attention right now. It's no point for me to go and dive in, because one, I mean, I might have my tunnel up, but if I dive in, I would probably die because I don't have flash or ultimate. So I'm just looking for a position. Nunu chases me by himself in the end, so he kind of gets punished for that. And then they win this team fight. If the Nunu would have chased here and maybe gone for the Darius and Nautilus, this could have been a worse fight. But if he did, like, if he committed to that, then I could have either killed the Senna or the Camille by playing it slow in the backline. One of them had to go for me, because if they wouldn't do that, then they would die. So it's very key positioning right there, and it's very smart. Again, with Rek'sai, you only have one chance to go in, so make it count. If you don't really have that opportunity, again, try to play it slow and look for a position where you can do it safely. Because just straight up diving into the enemy team is never really a good option. So here I finished my GA, which pretty much means I do have this option now to commit to a dive very easily and just soak up a lot of damage. You can also still stall time with your ultimate as well, but now picking up this Guardian Angel kind of opens up that position. So right here, this is one of those situations where I could, because of GA, commit to a fight a little bit easier. So here I'm in 3 people, I'm kind of just hitting the Nunu, ult the Nunu. I get popped into my Guardian Angel, but this pretty much allows me to kind of do what I just did. Because if I didn't have my GA here, I would not have been able to pull that off. And killing the Nunu right here is a very big deal. You guys might be like, well, he's like 1 in 9 or 2 in 8, 9, whatever he was. He's now 2 in 10. He might not be the most valuable one, but he actually is because Drake just spawned. So anyway, this fight kind of turns out now with the Vladimir still being in a pretty healthy spot. We have jungler advantage. So this is going to matter a lot for this dragon, and this is what I'm going to go for right now. That's why I committed to killing the Nunu. Now they were bot lane. I should be going for this Drake right here. This bot lane fight's definitely not worth doing. This Vlad's also making a pretty big mistake by just walking in there, so that's not ideal. I should have just done Dragon in this situation. I'm not sure why I didn't. I think I might have thought that the bot lane fight was winnable. But at this rate, like, yeah, there's not much for me to be doing right now. I just get kind of dove, try to do as much damage as possible, but I just, yeah, kind of get caught out. This would have been a much better play. This is like what I committed to killing Nunu for, and I didn't finish this through. So definitely, if you are in those positions, if the soul is an option, just opt for the soul. It's probably the better play, and it would have been the better play here. Instead, I gave a lot of shutdown gold to Echo, which now does give him a slight chance to get back into this game, because they pick up the Drake, deny our soul, and yeah, that's pretty bad for us right there. That's a mistake from me, and I should have definitely committed to just doing the Drake with Vlad right there. Right, I'm just clearing some camps, getting some vision control down around the Baron. We are still pretty strong, even though we just kind of threw a lot of money back at them. We are still a decent amount ahead in this game, so it's pretty good. Also, our comp skills way better than their comp does, because Vladimir Vayne late game is really strong, so that's definitely good for us. So I'm not too worried at this point still. But yeah, the Nunu goes in here. I mean, I kind of just, the way I'm playing these team fights right now is I'm playing with one of my carries. You can play it as well by diving in, but I definitely didn't have the position for that in this specific fight. So what I'm just doing is I'm sticking with my Vayne. Whoever goes for Vayne, I go for that target, because I can CC her. Vayne can do a lot of damage, and it's the way, it's kind of the tank way of playing team fights. Just peel the best way you can. It's an easy thing for Rek'sai to do, because people will commit and jump forward to go for those carries. And with Rek'sai, you can tunnel under them, maybe flash under them, get under them with your bird form, and it's a lot of time in that, or a lot of damage for the amount of CC Rek'sai has with his knockup, or her knockup, sorry. So it's very good there. So off that, we can pick up a Baron. I think. Alright, actually, right. Well, we're pushing out first. Alright, right here actually. So we see the enemies walking down. You saw them walking down right here. So what are they gonna, how are they gonna walk? Most likely this way is what I was thinking. So I opt to go for this. I'm full HP, I have flash, so I'm not that worried. You see this right here, we see the vision, she stuns me. And I just instantly opt to flash under the Karma, because she's an insta-kill at this rate. Again, the knock-up, auto-attack into Q, right here. Proc my Conqueror, and with the Conqueror, like, I notice how I did that extra auto-attack right there to proc my Conqueror before I bite her. This is a big thing, because that bite is going to give you a decent amount of healing. Now, here I catch up with ultimate. Alright, my bite actually didn't go off in that case, okay. So yeah, I just ult in, bite her. With the Conqueror up, the ult's going to give you a good amount of healing, and the bite's going to give you a good amount of healing, which easily made that possible. Conqueror is very good for that. I mean, yeah. I mean, right here, it's just quite literally just pushing out a turret. At this moment in time, we have their base completely pushed in. They all respawn, which pretty much still forces us to back, because we just kind of fought them over a longer period of time. So we might as well back one more time and then finish it out with a single push, which is easily something we can do right now. As you can see, we're just going to push with Baron. I'll look for a play. They don't have any way to defend. The only turrets they have left are these turrets. So if they walk up here, for example, we easily have a fight. Again, I'm playing more of a peel style here. This is usually the way playing late game team fights with Rek'sai is done. If you have the opportunity to jump the ADC, which is very unlikely, then you can opt for it by using your flash. But right here, my priority is just going for the peel on my carries again. Peeling Echo down so they can, the Echo cannot get the Vayne. Vayne would be safer to do damage that way and win the team fight. And that pretty much wins the game. So out of a lot of early pressure with objective control, and just abusing the fact that Rek'sai is a better early game than Nunu, which is a very important thing against those matchups. You're able to just like kind of carry your team through this one, and this is really how Rek'sai should be played. So if you guys have any questions on Rek'sai at all, make sure to put those in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. Also, If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button as well. Helps me out in getting this guide out there. Also, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!